up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to be going through my takeaways from day one of the scouting combine. Now, this is kind of hard to do because there's so many results, so many things I could take away. I will say I tried to watch pretty much the whole thing, but at some point I was kind of just like in and out, and I wasn't like 100% focused. But I did get some takeaways, so I got some takeaways. But it's really hard with this. It's really hard to get a lot of takeaways. I mean, you see a lot of guys who just don't drop the football, and it's like, all right, like I don't know what to take away from that, and they're not being covered, so it's a little bit weird. But I do have a few takeaways. We're really going to be looking at mainly, specifically, the guys that we're going to be talking about are players that could be prospects for the Detroit Lions. And when you look at this group that went yesterday, not a lot of these guys are going to be early prospects. So we're looking at potentially like later round sleepers or something that could fill in for depth. Because tight end group, we may not even need one at all. You know, tight end group was the first group to go. And we have Jesse James, T. Jackson, potentially Logan Thomas. So I was like that. We don't even really need a tight end. Wide receiver, maybe a little bit of depth, but we did bring back Danny Amendola. So those are our top three. We still have Marvin Hall, who I think is really good. He's on another year of his deal, I believe. And then at the quarterback position, just a backup. So we'll see what happens. Either way, though, we're going to kind of just fly through this. I'll show you guys the results the best that I can, but let's just hop right into it. So we're going to be looking at the results from the tight end group first, and I have a few takeaways. So again, guys that we're looking at, the first one was the major one for me, and that was Jared Pickney. You can see at the top of the chart here, out of Vanderbilt, who ran at 4.96, not super fast, but Jared Pickney to me struggled to catch the football. I think it was kind of an off day for him. He just didn't catch the football very well. Whatever drill it was, you just saw a lot of drops, and like I said, not a lot of things stick out to you because it's hard, because a lot of people just catch every pass. Here, Jared Pickney dropped a few, and he kind of stuck out to me. It's like, okay, yeah, he's struggling a little bit. So Pickney struggled a little bit catching the football, and I think that could be something to be concerned about. Next up, a target for us would be Adam Troutman. I thought Adam Troutman did very well. You can see here out of Dayton. Adam Troutman, the tight end out of Dayton, who ran a 4.80. Overall, just a solid player. Okay, he's like pretty much average in every single result, as you guys can see. I'll scroll through them real quick. Yeah, I believe he had an 18 when it came to, yep, he had an 18 bench press, and then when it came to vertical jump, he was somewhere right here. Yeah, 34.5 inches, which isn't bad at all from tight end. But Adam Troutman, he did a lot of different things. I think this is a guy that could be a late round guy that falls to us. One thing I saw that he didn't drop the ball at all. I don't think he dropped it once. He was very consistent when it came to catching the football. And two, he was blocking very well. When it came to blocking, that little blocking drill that they do, he just destroyed that thing. He was able to stay low on it, knock it high, and it was pretty impressive to see him do that. He's a 6'5", 255 tight end out of Dayton. So I think this could be like a later round prospect for us if we wanted some depth. But again, tight end isn't a huge need anyway, so it's kind of hard. At the tight end position was Stephen Sullivan. Okay, Stephen Sullivan is apparently a former wide receiver, and he had a lot of length. He wasn't like a big stocky tight end because he was a former wide receiver, and I think that would be a kind of interesting target, kind of like a Jesse James. You know, Jesse James is actually really tall. I think some people forget that he's a really tall dude. But you can see Stephen Sullivan, 4.66. 40-yard dash, which is ridiculously fast. The third fastest, you can see, tied for the third or the second fastest, really. Very fast. And like I said, former wide receiver, he's got really good hands. Maybe not the best blocking tight end, but he could use it in like situational times. You know, Cole Kmet, you know, those kind of guys, those are going to be the highest draft tight ends, but they can do everything. And for us, we're not really looking for a guy that can do everything because we already have tight ends like that. Maybe like a depth guy, a guy for certain situations. I can see Sullivan being one of those players for us. When you go by bench press reps here, we can look through these real quick. Hunter Bryant killed it. He's also a high one. Jared Pickney again, but I said he struggled with catching, but hey, maybe that was just an off day for him. I'm not sure. Sean McEwen actually had an 18, so good for him. So I'll just scroll through these. Bryson Hopkins. Okay, we'll just scroll through those real quick. We didn't see Cole Kmet actually participate in that. Then we saw the vertical jump. Cole Kmet killed that, 37 inches, very impressive. And Stephen Sullivan, you can see our guy, 36.5. So just a little bit behind out of LSU. So yeah, he was really interesting to me. Side note, Thaddeus Moss was actually out due to foot surgery. So if you don't know why he was out, that's why he was out. Not a lot to talk about here for the tight end group, even though I watched like 3 hours of it. Not a lot to talk about. So let's just hop into the wide receiver group next. And yeah, let's get this thing started. So starting off with the 40-yard dash for the wide receiver group, obviously Henry Ruggs was the star of the show. Everybody was ready for Henry Ruggs. I'm not going to lie. I stood up when he went. I was like, oh, snap, this dude might break a record. So I stood up. I stood in front of my TV, and it looked like he was going to break the record. This dude was flying, man. Like, it looked like he was going to fall over. I'm like, jeez. He was getting it. He looked like a track person. He was flying. Henry Ruggs killed that with a 4.27. Even though he didn't break the record, it was still crazy impressive. However, there's a couple of guys, to me, that really stood out when it came to the wide receiver group that potentially could have risen their stock. And players that I've been interested in later rounds, they did fine. So we'll go through those guys as well. So the first guy actually is Ylvis'cassano Chennault. I learned you say it like Ylvis'ca, not Ylvis'ca. Ylvis'ca. He is apparently one of the best blockers, and that's what's super exciting about Ylvis'ca and why you may draft him. He's a blocking wide receiver, one of the better blocking wide receivers, so I thought I would just point that side out. I learned that from listening to the Combine. See, I learned stuff. Next up, Duvernay and Gibson. Okay, here we go. Antonio Gibson. I know. Okay, you know it's coming. Both of these guys, woo, man, they were flying. Now, one thing about Antonio Gibson is they talked about that he could be maybe a running back at the next level. I could definitely see that. Watching Antonio Gibson, he kind of looked like a running back. Now, he didn't drop any footballs, I don't think, when it came to the gauntlet. However, a lot of them kind of slid through, or he caught it more with his body, I felt like. But he was super athletic. I mean, the fact that he was catching all those balls was super impressive for what he is at Memphis. The guy that played wide receiver and both running back. At that speed, his power, his ability to catch the football, he looks like a guy that could be out of the backfield and be a receiving back. A guy like that. He's got the speed. He had everything. Antonio Gibson looked really, really good to me, and I think it was like one of the first times a lot of people got to see some of these players. Antonio Gibson stuck out a lot, and yes, I can see him being a running back at the next level. He's got the speed. He had the ability to catch the football. He wouldn't be like your normal Derrick Henry, but he'd be like more of a receiving back. Devin Duvernay was the guy that we were keeping an eye on, kind of, out of Texas. He also just flew through that. And you can see Denzel Mims here, just really good for his time. He went way up, and that's a guy that's a potential second-round pick. But a lot of these guys are potential second-round picks, so a lot of these guys actually like are really making a case for being high picks. I would say Henry Ruggs made a case for being the first pick in the draft. I would say he had a definitely tough competitor in his same school, and that guy was Jerry Jeudy. Now, Jerry Jeudy didn't have the highest of anything, but everybody looks at Jerry Jeudy as a more polished route runner, that kind of thing. Jerry Jeudy played really, really well in every single drill, and he did everything really well. Henry Ruggs, obviously, his speed stuck out, but Henry Ruggs did make a case for being a very high draft pick. The only thing that worries me a little bit is he did have ice on his right ankle, so he didn't finish all the drills, which could be concerning to some teams. Quez Watkins. Okay, I don't know how to say his name. I'm sorry. Look, I was trying, all right? Chase Claypool, who's actually a bigger wide receiver. They look like he could be like a tight end kind of guy in the NFL. However, when he went out and did a 4.42, he definitely kind of shut that down. It was like, oh, snap. If this is a tight end, it's going to be a really fast tight end. So he could be another option for us, but he's going to go really early. I could see him going in like the second round again, too. Now, the one guy I think that definitely helped himself that had one of the biggest runs of the day was Justin Jefferson. I believe his first unofficial time was a 4.4 flat, which is super impressive. Justin Jefferson's a go up and get it type of wide receiver out of LSU, played with Joe Burrow. Very good possession wide receiver. They all knew that, but what about that speed? What about that top end speed? He had it. He had that top end speed, and I think he pushed himself to a potential first-round pick. He may have pushed himself to a potential first-round pick with how he performed when it came to the 40, at least on his unofficial time. His official time was a 4.43, which still isn't bad. I mean, like, it's like not really any slower, but still, I think that's really impressive when you see he is above guys like Jerry Jeudy. So he definitely killed it. I don't know if he'll be the first wide receiver taken, but he could go first round to one of those late teams that need a wide receiver. So I would keep an eye on that. I think he definitely had the biggest 40 of the day. Overall, the group looked good. I didn't see anybody that was like, oh yeah, this guy's struggling. Like, overall, I thought it looked pretty good. When it came to KJ Hill, I thought he would be a little bit faster. He wasn't slow, but I feel like when I watched KJ Hill, he had a lot of top end speed, not necessarily low end speed. He didn't have that torque, you know. I felt like he had a lot of top end speed when I was watching him, which was fine. Jalen Reagor, I mean, some of these guys, I mean, look at this. You're scrolling down here and you're seeing, oh yeah, 4.48 is slow. That ain't slow, man. They're killing it. That's barely any slower than the guy ahead of them. Like, you see Donovan Peoples-Jones, he actually dominated. And I think Peoples-Jones definitely solidified himself as a second-round pick with a 4.48 40, with the highest vertical jump, with the highest broad jump. I would say if there's anybody that really was on the verge of not being a second-round pick or not being a kind of high wide receiver, it was Donovan Peoples-Jones. And unfortunately for us, who were maybe looking at him in the third, potentially fourth, if he really flew down and he had a bad day, he had such a good performance. I don't think there's any way he falls to us, so I would say he's kind of out of the picture. But we'll see. You never know. There's a lot of good players out here, and some of them could fall. KJ Hill, like I said, he looks solid. There was really no one that I could pick out that was like, oh yeah, that guy's not doing well. Michael Pittman, like a 4.52. That's not slow. It's not slow at all. And when I saw Brandon Ayuk do it, I was like, well, that's going to be one of the fastest ones. You can see how low he is. So it's impressive what you got to see from the wide receiver group. It was definitely one of the... I don't really watch the Combine, so I'm not going to act like I know every year how the Combine goes. But I will say it was really impressive all over. Now, this guy, Antonio Gandy Golden, is a guy that I really liked out of Liberty here. He seemed to do everything well. He looked really clean with everything that he did. And if he falls down the draft board, which some of these guys will because there's so many picks, he could be a potential pickup for us. Not just the same guys like Michael Pittman or KJ Hill. I thought Antonio was a good option for us. I mean, look at this, 22 bench press reps. Obviously, he's got the strength, but man, he seemed to be really skillful when it came to everything. Just very smooth. I also have the tight ends mix in here. Let me get that out of here. Let me get that out of here. Here we go. I think that was messing us up up last time. I apologize. Yeah, so Michael Pittman, 13. Michael Pittman didn't kill anything, so he could definitely fall a lot, which is I'm okay with. You can see down here, Brandon Ayuk only got my Brandon Ayuk. Where's he at? No, Isaiah Hodgins. He got 9 bench press reps. That's tough, but hey, that's probably that's more than I could do. So good for you. KJ Hill, 17, pretty impressive. Jalen Rieger's fast. I didn't know Jalen Rieger was that fast. That dude's fast, all right? That dude's crazy athletic. And then we'll fly through the vertical jump. Like I said, Peoples-Jones dominate. 44.5? What? You know how high that is? It was 4 feet, dog. That's insane. You can see Jalen Rieger also was up here. Henry Ruggs again. So like I said, he may have made the case to be the first wide receiver drafted if it wasn't for him getting injured at the end. And he still may be. And broad jump down to Peoples-Jones again. 139 inches. Whoa, man, he killed it. So, yeah, he definitely did good. I think there's a lot of late-round targets out of here, and I really wouldn't be mad with a lot of guys. I thought some of the Ohio State wide receivers looked good when it came to catching the football. Also, the guy out of Michigan State looked pretty good. We'll hop in the wide receiver positional, the quarterback positional group, and we'll kind of finish it off here. So, let's go to the 40. And I think a lot of people are interested in this because everyone wants to dual threat quarterback. You can see Cole McDonald was first, and you're going to be like, who the heck is Cole McDonald? That was impressive. He seemed to be very athletic. The one thing I saw with him is cross the board, he's athletic. I didn't think his passing was that great. I really didn't. And some people are like, oh, yeah, this could be a sleeper. I know the guy talking said it could be one. And I wouldn't be mad taking him. Maybe if you could fix that a little bit. He's got the other things. But again, he's a quarterback, so you might want to throw a little bit. He just didn't seem like a great throw. I'm pretty sure he had like some awkward, kind of weird, goofy release, and I was like, okay, that's kind of wacky. I mean, if it works, it works. No hate. I mean, you can shoot it however you want, as long as you're making that shot. But okay, Jalen Hurts, you can see 4.59, definitely impressive. I thought he looked really good, and I think he could be a second-round pick in the draft. I would not be surprised if he gets in the second round. I don't know if he'll fall out of that. Sometimes the second round could be looking for somebody, maybe like a Bears or something, so I could see him going there. Herbert looked good. Herbert actually looked really good. The start was kind of iffy, and then he got really going, and he was just locked in. When it came to the deep balls, he was just on the money, and I was like, wow, that's why you're a high draft pick. Now, this guy is the guy that I'm interested after watching that. Steven Montez. I think he was actually in the Senior Bowl. Did not mean to click on him. He ran a 4.68, so he has that speed. He has the mobility. But, man, Steven Montez was a guy to me that I was like, yeah, that dude looks really good. They said, he makes a lot of wild plays, and there's also some plays where he misses. So he's kind of like very inconsistent, but he can make a lot of big plays. I think that's the kind of guy that you can work with as a backup. Really keep an eye out for Steven Montez if he falls to the 6th round. Shea Patterson actually looked pretty solid. He looked on a, like he wasn't like, what I mean? And I'm just saying. But Shea, he still did pretty well. 4.71, not bad. He was pretty good. I thought he was actually fairly accurate, but you could tell when it came to throwing the deep ball, what didn't have a big arm. That's what you could tell. Kelly Bryant, man, I just didn't see a lot of accuracy out of him either. Potentially a guy that can be mobile, but I didn't love the accuracy there, especially on the fade routes. I was kind of like disappointed. Jordan Love, he did good. Nate Stanley, I don't like Nate Stanley, dog. I didn't think he was that accurate either. Jacob Eason showed off a very big arm, which the Patriots could be interested in. I'm just saying they might take him. But Jacob Eason showed off a very big arm. He could potentially be the third quarterback off the board. He could be the third quarterback off the board in front of Jordan Love. Just keep an eye out for it. I'm not saying it will happen. It probably won't, but you never know. Brian Lewerke, stop. Okay, Kevin Davidson. Here's another interesting guy. He ran a slow 40. So if you want a mobile guy, this probably isn't the dude. But I felt like Kevin Davidson out of Princeton had a lot of good things to work with. He looked like a very accurate quarterback that obviously going to fall. He could be an undrafted free agent that we could pick up. I did like Kevin Davidson. I didn't really know about him, so I ain't going to lie. But once I saw him, I was like, yeah, this dude's solid. And he's definitely going to fall. Jake Fromm, I liked him as well. He's accurate, but he reads the field. I think Fromm's going to go too early for us. But honestly, if this dude fell really late, I would definitely take him without a hesitating at all. Doesn't have the biggest arm, not the most athletic, but he just reads the field so well. So that's what I like about him. We'll go to the bench press reps real quick. I don't know if they actually have these. Yeah, they don't have these. Okay. I'm not surprised they don't have those. That'd be kind of weird. Cole McDonald, like I said, this dude just killed it when it came to athletic things. I just didn't think his accuracy was there, but if that was just an off day, then maybe, he's that guy. Herbert actually did really well. Jordan Love, Kelly Bryant. So you got some athletic people here. Jalen Hurts, who looks like a second-round pick to me after that day. Montez Steven again. Shea Patterson. So I'm interested out of this group. Montez Steven, Shea Patterson, possibly McDonald, Anthony Gordon for sure. I really liked what I saw out of Anthony Gordon. I didn't even touch on him, I don't think. But Anthony Gordon, who was in the Senior Bowl with Matt Patricia, is very intriguing to me, and he was even before this started. So I really liked what Anthony Gordon could do. Plus, he looks kind of like an adult already, man. He's got that beard going and everything. You can see Hurts and Bryant up here. You can see, man, these dudes are crazy athletic. But I think Montez and Shea Patterson right next to each other in everything. Those are two guys to watch out for. James Morgan, kind of a sleeper out of Florida Atlantic International, excuse me. I don't know why I said Atlantic when I looked at that. Jacob Fromm, not bad. You see Easton kind of low here, but he looks like a Patriots quarterback to me. Not super athletic, but he's accurate, and he's got the deep ball. So yeah, that's kind of my takeaways. Didn't have a lot there. Burrow and Tua did not participate, so there you go. This was kind of hard to give you guys my takeaways because there was so much, and I really didn't know how to do it. Hopefully next time, I think what I'm going to do next time, is take some prospects before we start, probably today. Look at some prospects, write those prospects down, and focus on them throughout the thing and just lock into a few guys and talk about their takeaways. Maybe that'll make it a lot easier. But yeah, hopefully you guys were able to see most of the results. Anyways, I appreciate you all. If you stopped for that, wow, let's restart. Anyways, I appreciate all of you guys for stopping in. Make sure you let me know your thoughts or your takeaways or what you saw and who maybe could be a Lions prospect in your eyes. And yeah, I think that's it. That's all we got for today. So, oh yeah, and also let me not forget my offensive lineman here. Nite Mutai, that dude's had 44 bench press reps. Can we just, what? And also, don't forget the punters. Don't forget the punters. Hold up, look at this man. Look at this dude. 25 bench press reps. Michael Turk, I see you. So I thought I'd point that out. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.